You say one word out of place, you're finished.
Got a feeling, even before the pandemic, the world was going a bit nuts, that common sense was being evaporated. That the woke crowd, as I call them, who just want to basically tell us all how to lead our lives, right down to how we speak, how we think, what jokes we're supposed to find funny, what TV shows, what movies we're allowed to watch, what hairstyles we can have, what food we should eat, what drink we should have. You know, it goes on and on and on. But I want people to get on with their lives within the law and to lead it how they want to lead it without these screaming, howling, purple-haired, vegan wokies all over social media demanding everybody gets fired the moment they open their mouths.
I took over Portsmouth, who had been in the bottom 4 years running in the Championship. My first year there, I signed Merson 4 days before the start of the season, and he came into what was a very ordinary team, and I think we were 33-1 that year to win the league. And a mate of mine rang up week before, and he said to me, "Harry, I'm going to have £1,000 each way on you at 33." I went, "Don't waste your money." I said, "Listen, if we stay up, we're doing well." I said, "We are so poor." I brought Merson in, and he changed everything. He was so good. He was on another level. He made goals. He scored goals. He loved it. The lads loved playing with him. You know, he was brilliant for me, Mercer. I had a great season out of him, and he changed the whole ethos of the football club. He was fantastic.
And you see, people say, Harry, don't they, that a player can't really do it on his own. But you look at what the effect Merson had with you there at Portsmouth. Look at what Maradona did at Napoli. Yeah. You know, people talk about the World Cup, and it was great, but Maradona himself said that winning the league for the first time ever for Napoli, and then he won it again 3 years later. But you know, winning the league for a team that have basically always been down the bottom, always the forgotten team. And then one guy comes and one guy drove them to become double title winning champions. Yeah. That, you know, one player can change things. If they're good enough, they can.
Yeah.
Who do you think, Harry, is the greatest player to ever play football?
Again, it would have to, for me, Maradona, Pele. It would be, I love Bestie. I think Bestie was the best I'd seen in our, you know, in our country playing here. But probably, I think Maradona was. But I'm a big Pele fan as well. Look what Pele did, and the two at the moment.
I'm a
Ronaldo. That's what I'm going to say. Ronaldo.
I think Ronaldo. Well, Ronaldo and Messi to me. I'm always think Ronaldo, because I had an interview with him in Turin last year, and I went out there and spent a day with him, and we had dinner together. He's fascinating, charming, intelligent, funny, natural guy. Really liked him, and we had a long chat about sport. And I was really interested in the sort of psychology of Ronaldo. And he said, "Look," he said, "here's what he thought about who was the greatest." Obviously, he thought he was, but that's part of why he is what he is. He's a self-driven guy. I mean, you know, he scored 37 goals this year in 35 games. The guy's 35 years old.
Oh,
it's
amazing.
unbelievable.
Amazing.
And his body is like, it's almost as good as mine. And he told me that in his estimation, there have been players, especially he named a few Brazilians who've been for a few years, Ronaldinho, the other Ronaldo, and others, who've been absolutely unbelievable players, but for a very short period of time. Yeah. And he said the difference, he believed, between their claim to be the greatest and him and Messi is that him and Messi have been at the absolute top of their game for 16 years now and are still scoring unbelievable amounts of goals. And I told him a story which he was really interested in of Michael Phelps, the swimmer. And I once interviewed Phelps, and I said, "What makes you the greatest swimmer by far of any that have ever swum in a pool?" And he went, "Well, you've been spending all day interviewing Olympians," which I had done, the American Olympic team in 2012. And he said, "How many of them have gone 5 years without a single day off training? And by training, I mean 6 to 8 hours, half in the pool, half out of the pool. No Thanksgiving, no Christmas, no birthdays, no girlfriend's birthdays, no anniversaries, no break for anything. Wow. Just 5 straight years." And I was like, wow. And I told Ronaldo, and he went, "Yeah." He said that here's the thing. If you have that mentality, what makes the true greats stand out is that they are self-motivated, where even if you miss one day training, it hurts you. because you know the next day you won't be quite at the right level.
Amazing.
And that's why. And you look at Ronaldo.
Oh.
I mean, he's a physical freak. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But it was very interesting, the mindset. So for me, you know, I never saw much Pele of it. But for me, I think Cristiano Ronaldo. Right,
he is amazing, absolutely amazing. I mean, Carlo Ancelotti said to me when he was at Real Madrid, he said he was the first in every morning, the first player in, and the last player to leave every single day. He said, train, work, practice, incredible. You know, so he deserves. You know, and as Piers said, he's a great guy. I met him in a hotel in Sardinia. Me and Sandra went to Sardinia at the Patrizia. Smallish hotel with little cabins in a little hillside. He must have had 24 of his family. Every member of his family were there. His mum, his cousins, and every day they all went to the shops and all came back with all the designer bags hanging around their neck. And for 2 weeks he was there with his mum and his family. You know, and every day I had a little chat with him at 10 minutes. A fantastic fella, you know, amazing.
I had a funny moment in Sardinia. I was at a big resort there with my kids when they were young, and every night was football night with loads of pitches and brilliantly run. And two of my boys were playing this ferocious game, and there was a kid in a Milan shirt on the other team who kept banging goals in left, right, and centre, and it was driving my boys absolutely nuts. And the kid's dad was next to me, and eventually I turned to him. I could see he was his dad, and I went, "Wow, your boy's some player." And he went, "Oh, thank you. I'm very proud. Yeah." It was Marco van Basten.
And you said, yeah, and you weren't too bad either, Marco.
I know, it was funny.
Oh, my God.
One I was going to ask you about, Harry, which I was always, because I never watched him play, and I've watched very little footage, but the one that all the Brazilians wax lyrical about, and they did it after Maradona died, is Garrincha. Did you ever play with against him?
Oh, my God. I mean, what a player he was, you know. Do you know an amazing story? Danny Blanche, you know we have walls, you know when they make a wall, free kick, put the wall up. I met Danny Blanchflower. I spoke to Danny Blanchflower one day, and Danny was telling me Danny Blanchflower invented the wall in football.
Really?
Yeah, someone had to do it. It's like everything. Danny said he was the captain of Northern Ireland. They're playing Brazil. He said, and Garrincha used to take these free kicks and hit the ball and bend them and 30 yards in the top right, hit these. So Danny said, right, let's try this on the training ground the day before the game. They're playing in Brazil. Let's put a wall up. They went, what are you talking about, Danny? They were all looking at him like he was off his head. He said, we put 3-4 men in the wall, and so he can't. And they did it. It was the first time it was ever done. Oh. And it worked. It worked. And it's like everything, isn't it? The first time.
Yeah.
The Fosbury flop, when he flopped over everyone went, what's he doing? Danny Blanchflower invented a wall. You like your cricket, Piers, as well, don't you?
Yeah, I love it.
How was it that day when you was in the nets here? I mean, that must have been the most scary thing I could think of doing.
You know, it was one of those things. It seemed like a good idea when I was firing off, because what the context was, they lost 3-0 before we got there. So by the time I got to Australia, I was steaming with fury that this was all over before we'd even got out there. And two tests left, Melbourne and Sydney. So I went on Twitter and started giving it to the English batsmen about how gutless they'd been against Mitchell Johnson, who'd been terrorising them. Anyway, Brett Lee pipes back at me, do you think you could do better, mate? And I went, yeah, anytime. He said, really? Would you fancy facing me in a net? I went, absolutely. No. Put my phone down and my kids were like, what have you done? So Brett Lee organised it, and then I thought it'd be like 100 people out the back, bit of a laugh. He'd go easy on me.
It was packed.
10,000 people came out the back. It was like Gladiator. And the Aussie Test team came out, led by Mitchell Johnson, who bear hugged Brett Lee. Then the TV cameras arrived, Channel 9 in Australia and Sky here, both did it live. My sister later called it. She said, "Oh my God, it was like watching a public stoning." And, and I'd had some warm-ups and was feeling all right. I used to play a lot of league cricket where you face bowlers up to maybe early, 83, 84 miles an hour. So quick, but not that quick. Brett Lee was still playing in the Big Bash and was being timed at nearly 100 miles an hour. And so any sense that he might go easy was killed by the fact this crowd arrived. Then the Aussie Test players arrived. Then the TV cameras arrived. Shane Warne's there, Mark Nicholas, Michael Vaughan. And this is now serious. And he's like going to prove his point, which is you think this is easy. And the first ball we came in, I didn't see any of them. and it crashed into my rib. I'd had dinner with Viv Richards the night before, and he said to me, "Man, you got to take the battle to him, man. Go down the track, That's easier said than done. If you're Viv Richards, you can go down the track to Brett Lee. If you're me, who hasn't played league cricket in 8 years, you can't do that." So I went down, and you see me advancing towards him, and he then spears me. And afterwards, he said, "Oh, mate, it's like when a shark sees blood moving in the water. It just, follow it." And anyway, the first one smashed my wrist. I thought he'd broken it. Then I knew I was in a world of pain where I would not see any of the balls. He was pumped up and coming at me, trying to kill me. The second one, I dived for cover. The third one broke my rib, clean fracture. The fourth one hit the broken rib. And it cracked. We both had headsets on, and he came running down and went, "Oh, mate, did you hear that one crack?" Then Shane Warne told him, "You got to give it one to hit." So he yorked me, obviously, smashing the stumps. And then the sixth one, he hit me again just for good measure. So I was hit 4 times, broke a rib. Actually had the rib broken twice because he hit it again. And then, absolute agony. However, once I knew I wasn't actually dead, it was obviously one of the most exhilarating things that any club cricketer, I've loved cricket all my life, to actually have that experience and survive it will go down as one of the all-time great experiences of my life. And I went back in the stadium, barely able to walk, bruises everywhere. All the Brits were giving it the, "What a wanker, you embarrassed your country." All the Aussies all stood up and cheered.
Yeah, they did.
And one of them went, "At last, a bloody pond with some guts around here." So it was, in the long answer to that one. The short one was, it was one hell of an experience.
Piers, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you
Piers,
ever so much.
Can't thank you enough, mate.
You're a good
Cheers,
man.
guys. See you
Top
soon,
man.
mate.
Take
Bye,
care.
mate. Bye, Piers.
Cheers, Piers. Take care,
Bye.
mate.